Most people over 65 are told the same thing. Your joints are wearing out, so slow down. It sounds sensible, it sounds safe. But here is what nobody tells you. Slowing down alone does not protect your independence. Orthopedic clinics see this every single day. Someone arrives certain the cartilage is crumbling, and the new scan looks almost identical to the one taken 5 years earlier. What changed was not the joint surface. What changed was the sense that tells that joint where it is in space. In the next few minutes, I am going to give you 5 specific things that rebuild that sense at home. I am also going to give you the one explanation a short appointment almost never has time to cover. The number one item on this list is something almost nobody talks about. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Here's the real problem with a 12-minute appointment. 12 minutes is enough time to look at an image and name a diagnosis. It is not enough time to test how well your nervous system is reading your own body. Joint position sense has no blood test and no quick scan, so it almost never gets measured, and what does not get measured almost never gets treated. You walk out with a word like arthritis, and the far more fixable problem never comes up at all. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Nothing on this list costs money. Everything on this list can be done in your own kitchen. This matters because of one very specific moment. It is the moment your foot lands slightly wrong on a curb and your body has to correct before you have time to think. That correction is the difference between a stumble you laugh about and a hip fracture that ends your independence. Tell me in the comments how old you are and what city you are watching from. I want to see how far this actually reaches. Inside every joint capsule, every tendon, and every muscle, you have thousands of tiny sensors. They are called proprioceptors. Their only job is to report position, pressure, and speed to your brain hundreds of times every second. That constant stream is called proprioception, and it is why you can touch your nose with your eyes shut. Picture a city with pressure sensors buried under every road. The traffic control center never sees the cars directly. It only ever sees what those buried sensors report. When the sensors start to fail, the center stops trusting the road and slows all the traffic down as a precaution. Your nervous system does exactly the same thing, and that slowdown feels like stiff, unreliable, aching joints. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. That one tap does more than you would guess. Number 5 is barefoot floor time on a folded bath towel. 10 minutes a day in your own home with nothing on your feet. The sole of your foot is one of the densest sensor fields in your entire body. Every shoe with a thick, cushioned sole muffles those sensors. It is like wrapping a smoke detector in a blanket. The alarm still exists, but almost nothing reaches it. After 20 years in cushioned shoes, your brain quietly stops asking the foot for information at all. Large balance studies have consistently shown that footwear changes how well older adults sense the ground beneath them. Rehabilitation clinics use textured surfaces for exactly this reason. Here is the dose. Fold a bath towel in half and lay it on the floor beside your kitchen counter. Stand on it barefoot for 2 minutes, then step off and stand on the bare floor for 1 minute. Repeat that pattern 3 times, which gives you 9 minutes in total. Do it once a day, every day, for 2 weeks before you change anything. In week 3, swap the folded towel for a rolled towel under the arch of the foot, which raises the demand without adding any risk. Keep one hand resting on the counter the entire time. If you have diabetes or any loss of feeling in your feet, check the floor for objects first and do this only when someone else is home. Sharp pain means stop, not push through. Burning or numbness that is still there after you step off means stop for that day. Pair this with your morning coffee. Stand on the towel while the coffee brews because a new habit attached to an old habit is the only kind that survives. And do this one before any of the others. Because a foot that is reporting again makes every other item on the list work better. Right now, while you are sitting there, press both feet into the floor and notice which one you feel more clearly. Most people feel one far more than the other. That difference is the whole subject of this video. But the foot is only the bottom of the chain. Directly above it sits a joint that decides whether a stumble becomes a fall, and it fades quietly years before the knee or the hip ever complains. That is number 4. Number 4 is the eyes closed ankle repositioning drill. You do it sitting in a dining chair, and it takes about 4 minutes. Your ankle is the first responder. When the ground tilts, the ankle corrects long before the hip or the arms are involved. That correction runs on joint position sense, not on strength. Think of the steering in an old car. If there is play in the wheel, you can still drive perfectly well, but every correction arrives a moment too late. Ankle position sense is one of the most studied predictors of balance in older adults. Physical therapy after any ankle injury is built almost entirely around retraining it. Sit in a firm dining chair with both feet flat on the floor. Lift your right foot 2 inches off the floor and slowly point your toes down, then hold that exact position. Close your eyes, circle the ankle 3 full times, then try to return to that same pointed position and hold it for 3 seconds. Open your eyes and see how close you actually came. Do 10 repetitions on each side, once a day, 5 days a week. After 2 weeks, do the same drill standing with one hand on the counter, which roughly doubles the difficulty. Seated is the safe version, and there is no shame in staying there for a full month. If you have had an ankle replacement or a recent fracture, ask your doctor before you add the standing version. A cramp in the calf means shorten the range, not abandon the drill. Sharp pain inside the joint itself means stop for that day. Pair this with the barefoot towel work from number 5. Do the towel first, then sit down and do the ankle drill immediately after, while those foot sensors are still wide awake. Both of these are also the foundation for number 1. And number 1 is the reason I asked you to stay until the end. Now, the ankle handles the ground, but there is a second system your brain leans on for balance. And when that system stops talking to your joints, no amount of ankle work will save you. Number 3 repairs that conversation. Number 3 is the counter-supported head turn walk. 20 steps twice a day along your own kitchen counter. Balance is not one system. It is 3. Your eyes, your inner ear, and your proprioception. Most people over 70 quietly let the eyes take over nearly the whole job. Picture a 3-legged stool where 2 legs have been shortened and the third is carrying all the weight. The moment the light dims or the head turns, that stool tips. Vestibular rehabilitation programs in major hospital systems use head movement during walking as a core exercise. It is one of the most established balance retraining methods there is. Stand at one end of your kitchen counter with your fingertips resting on the surface. Walk slowly along the counter and turn your head to the left for 2 steps, then to the right for 2 steps. Keep turning every 2 steps until you reach 20 steps. Walk back the same way, which gives you 40 steps in total. Do this twice a day, morning and evening, 5 days a week. After 3 weeks, do the same walk with your fingertips only brushing the counter instead of pressing on it. Keep the counter within reach at every single step and clear the floor before you start. If you feel dizzy, stop and stand completely still until it passes before you move again. Dizziness that lasts longer than a minute means stop and tell your doctor about it. Never do this version on stairs, on a rug, or near a carpet edge. Pair this with a walk you already make. Do 20 steps before breakfast and 20 before dinner because 2 small doses beat 1 long session for this particular skill. Hold on to this one because number 1 is the same idea taken 1 step further, and that is where the biggest change happens. When was the last time you crossed a dark room without reaching for a wall? For most people over 70, the honest answer is years. That is not a personality trait. That is a measurement. Head turns train the sensing side of the system, but sensing is only half of it because a signal that arrives at a muscle too weak to answer changes nothing at all. Number 2 closes that gap and it is the one most people skip. Number 2 is the kitchen suitcase carry. One heavy bag in one hand, walked slowly across the room and back. Load is a language your joints understand. When weight passes through a joint, the pressure sensors inside that joint fire far more strongly than they do when you are simply standing there. It is like turning up the volume on a radio station that had gone faint. The signal was always being broadcast. Load is what makes your brain able to hear it again. Loaded carrying is a standard tool in strength research for trunk and hip stability. Geriatric programs use grocery bag carries specifically because the movement is already part of daily life. Fill a sturdy shopping bag with canned goods until it weighs about 8 pounds. Hold it in your right hand, stand tall, and walk 20 steps across the kitchen without leaning to either side. Set it down, rest for 30 seconds, then repeat the walk carrying it in your left hand. Do 3 trips per side, 3 days a week, and never on 2 days in a row. When 20 steps feels easy for all 3 trips, add 2 more cans, which is roughly 2 more pounds. Walk a route with a counter or a table within arm's reach the entire way. If you cannot walk 20 steps without leaning, cut the weight in half rather than shortening the walk. If you take a blood thinner or you have had a recent shoulder or wrist problem, talk to your doctor before you add weight. Sharp pain means stop, not push through. Pair this with the head turn walk from number 3, but never in the same minute. Do the head turns in the morning and the carries in the afternoon because one trains sensing and the other trains answering. Your grocery trip stops being a risk and becomes practice. Everything so far trains the system while your eyes are still quietly helping out, but your eyes are also the reason the system faded in the first place. Number 1 takes the eyes out of it, and it is the single most powerful thing on this entire list. Number 1 is the eyes closed weight shift at the kitchen counter. 2 minutes a day standing still with your eyes gently closed. Here is why this one sits at the top. Your brain is lazy in the most efficient way possible, and it will always use the cheapest source of information available to it. Vision is by far the cheapest. So as proprioception slowly fades through your 60s and 70s, your eyes quietly take over the job without ever telling you. Picture a company where one department stops doing its work and another department silently covers for it. On paper, everything looks fine, right up until the covering department is out for a single day. For your body, that day is a dark hallway at 2 in the morning, or a wet leaf on the front step, or the second you turn your head in the shower. The only way to make the failing department work again is to send the other one home for 2 minutes at a time. This is not a fringe idea. Removing vision to force the other 2 systems to work is the foundation of clinical balance testing and of vestibular rehabilitation in major hospital systems. Large studies of balance in older adults consistently show that performance collapses far more with the eyes closed than with the eyes open, and that the gap narrows with training. Here is the exact protocol, and the numbers matter. Stand facing your kitchen counter with your feet hip-width apart and your fingertips resting on the edge. Shift your weight slowly onto your right foot over a count of 3, hold for 3, then return to center over a count of 3. Do exactly the same to the left. That is 1 repetition, and it takes about 18 seconds. In week 1, do 6 repetitions with your eyes open once a day. In week 2, do the same 6 repetitions with your eyes closed and expect to sway more, because that sway is the training. In week 3, close your eyes and narrow your feet until they are about 4 inches apart. In week 4, close your eyes, narrow your feet, and let only 2 fingertips touch the counter. That is the full progression, and the mistake almost everyone makes is jumping to week 4 and week 1, which teaches the body to grip instead of to sense. Now the safety rules, and none of these are optional. Both hands stay on the counter for the entire first 2 weeks with no exceptions. Never do this version in the middle of a room, on a rug, or with a chair behind you that can slide. If you have vertigo, an inner ear condition, or you take a medication that makes you lightheaded, do weeks 1 and 2 only and ask your doctor before you close your eyes at all. If you feel yourself falling toward the counter, open your eyes immediately and grip it. Sharp pain, spinning, or nausea means stop for that day, not push through. Pair this with the barefoot towel from number 5 in the very same 2 minutes. Stand on the folded towel while you do the eyes closed shifts, because a bare foot on a textured surface feeds the exact sensors you are trying to wake up. That single combination is the strongest version of everything on this list. Do it at the same time every night right after you brush your teeth, because the habit is what makes 4 weeks actually happen. I told you at the start that the number 1 item could change how you approach the next 10 years, and this is why. Every other item on this list makes your body better at reporting where it is. This one makes your brain start listening again. Balance is not luck. Mobility is not genetics. Independence is trained. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman had been told for 6 years that her knees were simply wearing out. She had stopped going down to the basement, she held the stair rail with both hands, and she had quietly given up her garden. Her scans had barely changed across those 6 years, but her confidence had collapsed completely. She began with 9 minutes of barefoot towel standing every morning. 2 weeks later, she added 10 ankle repositioning repetitions per side, sitting at her kitchen table. In week 4, she started the eyes closed weight shifts at the counter, 6 repetitions every night. She added 20-step head turn walks before breakfast and before dinner. By week 8, she was carrying an 8-pound bag of cans across the kitchen, 3 trips per side, 3 days a week. At the end of 12 weeks, she could stand on one leg with her eyes open for 22 seconds, up from 4. She was going down to the basement again, with one hand on the rail instead of 2. Her knee pain had not vanished, and nobody had promised her that it would. But her body had stopped guessing, and that is what gave her the stares back. So here is exactly what to do, and I want you to start tonight. 5 steps, and every single one of them has a number attached. Tonight, fold 1 bath towel in half and put it on the floor beside your kitchen counter so it is waiting for you in the morning. That is step 1, and it takes 30 seconds. Tomorrow morning, stand on that towel barefoot for 2 minutes while your coffee brews. Step 2 is finished before you have taken a sip. This week, sit in a dining chair once a day and do 10 eyes closed ankle repositioning repetitions on each side. That is step 3, and it costs you 4 minutes. Also, this week, walk 20 steps along your counter, turning your head every 2 steps, twice a day. Step 4 adds up to less than 2 minutes in total. And starting tonight, do 6 eyes closed weight shifts at the counter with both hands down right after you brush your teeth. That is step 5. It takes under 2 minutes, and it is the one that matters most. Do all 5 for 4 weeks before you judge any of it. 4 weeks is the honest minimum for a nervous system to rewire itself. Write the start date on your calendar tonight. Think of someone in your life who has been told their joints are just wearing out and that they should slow down. Send them this video, because a towel and a counter cost nothing and they can start tonight. That one message may be the most useful thing you do this week. Tell me in the comments which of these you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. And if you want the science, a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Subscribe to this channel. That is the entire reason it exists. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Judy Vance. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.